The EPCHS, heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the EPPodcast.com.
And welcome into the EP Podcast. My name is Chris Lanuti. This is your Friday edition of the EP Podcast this week, and it's all brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. Students, get your finances set up. The First National Bank of Evergreen Park student checking account helps you manage the money you have. Convenient mobile app lets you bank from anywhere so you don't have to leave the house. And with no minimum required to open, you'll get your own debit card, plus 5 free nationwide ATM refunds per statement cycle. Open up a student checking account today. Visit bankevergreenpark.com/student/EP. No minimum required to open. Member FDIC. Last weekend, the Evergreen Park High School dance team went and did a major competition. Everybody in their conference was there, and they won everything. Varsity, junior varsity awards, coach of the year, all the sportsmanship awards. It was a sweep, and we have the coach of the year, Marion Castillo, on the line right now. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
How do you win everything at a meet? I mean, I'm looking at the list of schools in the conference that Evergreen Park is in. And you, like, all these people plan to go to this thing. Your team walks in, takes everything. How does that happen?
It's a lot of hard work. The team had many challenges throughout the season, and they overcame everything every day at practice, working hard. And as we always tell them, those opportunities don't happen. You got to create them, and it's all about that hard work.
How many kids you got on the teams? I don't know, like combined, let's say, between your junior varsity and varsity teams?
There's 26.
So, I'm not an expert on this. I was never on a dance team. Tell me how wrong I am when I think to myself, dance team, and I start comparing it to cheerleading.
Between dance and cheer, there's a lot of similarities. The only difference is that we're dancing throughout the whole 2.5 minutes of our routine. It's a constant from start to finish. They don't have that break in the middle. It's trick after trick. Their skills, perfecting, and it's all about their timing. And it is a lot of hard work. I'm glad it became a sport back in the 2012 because they do just as much as everybody else.
So how do you pick the songs? I always wondered whenever I saw a dance team that was, like on TV, I'm flipping along, I see a dance competition, or if I'm at an event and I see a dance team come out there. Yeah, are these basically on your playlist, Coach?
No, this is something that we kind of think about throughout football season as we see them growing, and just kind of develop in our mind what they can accomplish. And then we kind of talk to our choreographer who comes and helps us out during competitive, and we talk about it. We pick a song, and this year, Rise and Fall, it really gave it everything. We have a fresh new varsity team of and everyone on our team is all brand new except maybe 2 that been with the team before. And having freshmen, sophomore, juniors who join this team who's never danced competitively at all to come out and do what they do was amazing. They're dancing against teams that have been dancing for years, and they came out and did what they had to do.
So the Evergreen Park Community High School competitive dance team, clean sweep at the South Suburban Reg Conference meet. I would guess anybody listening to this right now might say, wow, that's a pretty talented team. How do I see them? Is there an opportunity coming up? Are you guys doing anything else if somebody who's listening to this would want to see a team that's capable of sweeping an entire competition?
We are competing this weekend at Geneva for sectionals, hoping to make the top 6 to make it to state. We will be at the next basketball game next Monday, so more than happy at halftime to come out and see their routine.
Awesome. Well, Coach, congratulations. And good luck, because you got a journey ahead of you. I hope they go all the way to the top. The coach of the year, head coach Marion Castillo of the Evergreen Park High School competitive dance team. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's take a look at your weekend weather, all brought to you by Larry Liebforth and Liebforth Law. Larry is a close personal friend of mine, practiced law in the south suburbs for decades. You see him walking around Evergreen Park where he lives all the time. He's a former president of the Southwest Bar Association, and he brings in big settlements for personal injury lawsuits. He handles criminal defense, real estate, probate, and corporate law. For justice, equality, and trust, reach out to Larry. Let him help you at 708-499-6300 or visit leaveforthlaw.com. Friday, the Datus episode comes out on the 21st of January. 27 is your high, 18 your low, and partly cloudy. Saturday, it's going to warm up to 31. Sunday, back down to a high of only 23, and you may see some snow early Sunday morning as you head off to church. If you do that, the week will kick off with a high of 36 and more snow, at least in the early morning hours. Then everything should stay clear, but it's going to get really cold midweek, down into the teens here in the EP and the surrounding area. This weekend, the Dan Capuano Ice Rink has so much going on. Open skate on Friday the 21st from 5 to 7 p.m. Saturday the 22nd, 2:45 to 3:45 stick and puck. 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. open skate. 6 to 8 rat hockey. And on Sunday, 4 hours of open skate starting at 2 p.m. and at 6 p.m. more rat hockey. It's only a couple of bucks. Remember, you can rent skates out there, and it's only an extra $1 if you're not an Evergreen Park resident. Check out all of the prices at evergreenpark-ill.com. The Village continues its free COVID-19 testing at EPCHS Field. It's happening every Friday, and it also happens on Wednesdays. That means the Datus episode comes out Friday, January 21st. You can head over to 89th and Kedzie and get yourself either a PCR test or a rapid test. In fact, if I'm reading this right, you can get both. People are encouraged not to eat, drink, or smoke for at least 20 minutes before being tested. I saw this interesting email that came out from the Village earlier on this week that Mayor Kelly Burke was a virtual guest for a 3rd grade class at Northwest School. But the thing I found most interesting is you can have the mayor hang out with your classroom. I imagine she will be so busy because they put that out. If you didn't hear about this and you think that your kid's school, or if you're a teacher, maybe your classroom would like to have the mayor, all you have to do is shoot him an email, epinf@hotmail.com. It's epinfo without the O at hotmail.com. Coming up this Monday on the EP podcast, Glenn Panuski from The Village, Josie Donovan from the Rec Department. They have so much to talk about, including the upcoming Flake Fest. We're also going to sit down with the most recent president of the Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce, Sarah Klein. And I got a few surprises I'm lining up along the way. A brand new segment for our new version of the Weekend Update, or Friday edition of the EP podcast, coming up next, right here on the EP Podcast, found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the EPPodcast.com. Quitting smoking is hard, and not everyone is going to find success with the same product. Luckily for Evergreen Park, there's Cool Clouds Vapor Shop. Since 2014, Cool Clouds Vapor Shop has been offering a variety of electronic cigarettes and e-liquids, helping adult smokers find the right fit when looking for an alternative. And there's nothing like walking in there and finding a large range of devices you can use. They even have a tester bar with over 150 incredible flavors to choose from. Evergreen Park residents Reed, Bridget, and their staff provide a welcoming environment where smokers can come and have an honest conversation about their smoking habits and their goals. And now Cool Clouds offers a range of CBD products that can help with pain, inflammation, anxiety, sleep. Adult smokers, visit Cool Clouds Vapor Shop today, 3837 West 95th Street in Evergreen Park. Cool Clouds Vapor Shop of Evergreen Park, providing quality products at reasonable prices and the best customer experience possible. So one of the things that I would like to do going forward on all the shows that we do here from my basement, my 9-foot homemade oak bar right here in Evergreen Park, is feature different things going on different podcasts, just in case you want to try something new. So earlier this week, the Sox in the Basement podcast had on Jake Burger. He's an infielder for the Chicago White Sox. he's a former first-round draft pick. And he caused a little bit of a stir by telling people that he might be the second baseman next year, a position that he has not played professionally, ever. Here is the new segment, Heard in the Broadcast Basement, where Sox in the Basement, part of the Broadcast Basement On-Demand Radio Network, asked Jake Burger about the possibility of him playing second base this year for the Chicago White Sox. It was something that we suggested. I said it, actually, and Ed looked at me like I was crazy. I said it when you first got up to the majors, can this kid play second base? A lot of people laughed at me for making that suggestion. So how much of a realistic thing is this that you could be competing for the second base job here in 2022?
Well, part of it was just a troll. I know so many people out there wanting any sort of baseball content, obviously with the current situation. But the other part of it is actually the team asked me to work on it over the offseason. I've been doing transfers and double play feeds and different stuff like that since early part of November. So I'm feeling comfortable over there. I played like 5 games in Charlotte. Everything went well, but the pop-ups were a little issue for me, just because I've been on the left side of the diamond for so long. The pop-ups are a little different. But other than that, I felt pretty comfortable over there. Honestly, the ground balls aren't as hard. It's more routine type stuff. So, I mean, it's realistic for sure. And, it's just one of those things where I'm gonna do whatever is asked of me, and that's kind of what ends up happening. So, but I like it over there. It's fun to learn a new position and diversify your game a little bit.
So I looked up the stats to see how you did down in Charlotte as a fielder, and it noted a couple of errors. Were they on the pop-ups, or were they trying to do a transfer for double play? Like what did you struggle with when you were in Charlotte?
Yeah, what were your errors, Jake?
It was literally the exact same pop-up twice in the same game. Like, legitimately, like, I don't think he could, like, Matt Reynolds was our shortstop, and he had a night off, and he was down in the tunnel watching the game on the TV, and he thought it was a replay. Like, the second one I missed, he thought it was a replay. That's how, like, exactly the same it was. But, yeah, like, those were the only 2 errors I made over there. Like, I fielded everything else, turned to double play, fed to double play, so, like, that was the only issue, and, safe to say I had a lot of pop-up priority work for the next week.
I'll tell you this, though. You make me feel better as a mid-40s 16-inch softball player when I drop 2 pop-ups in a game and I feel like an idiot. Now I'm like, hey, Jake Burger does it too. Like, I appreciate the fact that you're human, Jake. So here's the thing. You kind of throw this out there that second base might be an option, and then you post a video on Twitter. And immediately, and I know you saw it because I could tell your reaction to it, you kind of posted a few things afterwards. Immediately, you've got Twitter Sox fans saying, I can make that transfer. That isn't that good. What does he think? I mean, like, all of a sudden, all the experts came out. The Twitter comments were on fire. Did you read through that stuff and get a chuckle over it? Is it laughable that guys that can just grab the keyboard and start typing, feel like they can critique your play at second base?
Oh yeah, it always, like, that was part of me posting it too. Just that, I wanted a good laugh. I think, like, going through my injury, and there were, like, a lot of tweets, this guy's a bust and all this stuff. Like, I took it to heart during that time, and now I look back on it, I'm like, who cares what anybody thinks? Like, I'm confident in myself, and that's the way it's gonna go. And, like, honestly, it's kind of funny. Like, oh, he's not putting his foot here. Like, the people that I thought were really funny, I would, like, comment back and make a joke out of it too. I know people are starved for baseball content, so it was pretty funny seeing all the reactions on there.
I love it. You know what? Look, I want you to post as many videos as you can of you working out at second base.
I want him to move to catcher next.
Oh yeah.
And pitcher.
Start trying on other positions too. Like, start trying. Like, you should just make a joke out of the whole thing, because the way that people responded to it. I mean, you're a professional athlete. And it wasn't out of the question last year. I mean, your first round draft pick and a professional athlete. I mean, and the way that people, like we even talked about it last year, like, hey, I wonder if this guy could play second base. Like, wouldn't it be nice to get his bat in there at second base? And people like responded to me like I was just a lunatic, Jake. So I'm sure you're getting it even worse. I mean, I really want it to happen now because I just think it would blow people's minds.
So can you be the starting second baseman so Chris can talk to people and be like, I told you so.
Yeah. Can you do that for
me? That'd be awesome.
You can hear that full 30-minute interview at soxinthebasement.com or anywhere podcasts can be found. Meanwhile, remember, the EP Podcast has a new episode out on Monday, 30 Minutes of Good in a World of Dumb, and you can always contact us. Listen, you go to the EPPodcast.com, you can do a lot of things. There's a search engine. You can put in keywords, find episodes you might have missed or topics that you want to learn about. You can also leave us a message or leave a rating on the show or a review of the show. And you can leave a voicemail. So written messages plus a little microphone you can click on and you can leave a voicemail, hear yourself on the show, ask a question, make a comment. And you can also use your phone for that as well, 708-459-8406. We would love to hear from you and get your thoughts. Otherwise, have a great weekend. We will see you Monday morning on the EP Podcast, found anywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the EPPodcast.com.
Look at all those people in this great suburb, driving down 95th and Kedzie. What a great place. It's called Evergreen Park, but we know it better as the EP. We're known for more than just the Unabomber. Remember Ted Kaczynski? You guys might even remember that big old rooster on 95th Street. It's all part of EP's history. So listen up to the EP Podcast. You might be asking why. Because we talk about all things and we celebrate all the great things in the 60805. It's the EP Podcast, all things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast, Evergreen Park.